Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for coming to my channel. My name is Lotus D, and I am so excited that you're here with me. So take about, I don't know, 15 minutes of your time today, maybe a little bit longer. We're going to talk about a couple of great subjects, but I do want to make sure too that any of you who are new to the channel, please like and subscribe. As we continue on with what we're going to talk about today, I really want you all to think about what we've done the last two times we've been able to get together. One of them's been definitely meditation, right? So there's so many different forms of meditation. Yesterday we spoke about the walk meditation. Today I want to talk about mindful meditation. And the other day we spoke about deep breathing exercises as in meditation. There is a difference in the deep breathing and the mindful meditation. The mindful meditation is more so around your thoughts, where the deep breathing is more so around your breathing. They still kind of coincide together, but the difference is that you really do pay attention to if you are letting your mind wander, and the other ones is if you start to perhaps not keeping up with your breath, how much you're inhaling, how much you're exhaling. So I just want to put that out there because the mindful one is really good for, they're both good for anxiety, but the one that I think is so effective for like helping with not just relaxing you, is definitely the mindful one. Because with the mindful one, we can do that exercise right now too, guys. It's more so of like taking in where you are, thinking about not just your body, but the sensationalism of your body itself. Like if you're feeling different things when you're going from your head down to your feet. Some people like to start from the feet up. So it's again, it's something that you guys can decide on. I myself, I change it up every now and then. But depending on if I'm thinking too much, I start from the feet so I can work my way up. And I think when I first started meditating, I did it the same way, just because it helped me realized that I was putting too much emphasis on this portion and I couldn't get past this. So by starting there, it distracted me from up here and the sensations that I felt. So for instance, right now, you would start to think, and you would just start to be peaceful, find a place within yourself. Start from the toes. You can wiggle them if you want to. Keep going up. By now, you should be feeling ankles, calves. You should still be breathing, relaxing. You don't have to necessarily count. Counting helps sometimes with keeping your thoughts on the right focus, then do such. But by now, you should be reaching your knees. You kind of want to, you can touch them or put your hands on your knees if you wish, just to kind of give you an idea of making sure that that's where you're centering your energy on and going from there. And keep in mind, we're doing this because it's to drift you away from wondering as much about everything else that's going on around you, the anxiety that you're feeling, or any type of frustration that's taking place right now in your life, besides what's happening on the outside, right? At some point, you should be at your hips. No reason to wiggle anything. Just make sure you're still breathing in and out. And then when you breathe in and out, remember where you're at again. You're doing your lower back. Conscientious of that. Getting to mid back. You may sit straighter. Posture is always very important when meditating because you can really feel everything too. Slouching is not always, it's not the way your back should be sitting, or how you should sit, or how you should have your spine. So make sure that you're sitting upright, feet planted still on the floor, completely both on the floor. And if it's hard for you that have maybe, knee injury or hip injury of some sort, your foot can be a little twisted. It's totally fine. But just keep in mind that has to naturally flow. By the time you get to where you were at, you've forgotten everything you were thinking before you started because you're so much more so geared on paying attention to where everything is planted and how your body is feeling. So keep that in mind. It's called a mindful um, meditation, and it's really effective for those, especially who are really trying to get out of their head. Deep breathing does help as well. That helps me on the go, like in the moment. But because you can do it almost anywhere. Whereas mindful is more so you need to be in a very quiet place with no distractions. So you can't really do that anywhere because there's always distractions, right? Phone off, TV off, radio off. Radios, I guess no one's really playing those right now, but I mean, your streamlines, everything needs to be off. Social media disconnected so you can get it. And then you want to get it all the way up to your head. So meaning you want to do the meditation by the point it gets up here. Because if you're not able to get there, you got to start all over again. Yeah, from the feet back up until you get it. And that's how you master it is by really taking that time for yourself and understanding after you finish it that whatever you had the anxiety about or wherever you felt a little bit of high blood pressure happening, because it happens. These are things you can do when you're at the doctor's office as well, when you're getting your vitals done. To get your blood pressure to come to calm down because going to the doctor gives anxiety to everyone pretty much. So keep that in mind as well. Okay. All right. So today's conversation, or should I say behavior, we're going to look at because as you all know, we've had a chance to talk to each other. For those of you who haven't met me before or uh, was able to get on my line before my feed, I appreciate you coming on. But definitely, my biggest thing is I am a certified coach, life coach. And my topic is always well-being. However, at the same time, I've also taken, I'm not there yet, but I've gotten some psychology courses for behavioral science. So that being said, I speak a lot about the behavior of a person because I believe if you're able to kind of understand what they are doing, you may be able to understand when we get deeper to why they're doing it. Okay, so behavior is definitely what you see and hear versus what you think you know. All right, so right now one of the things we talked about yesterday was that we definitely want to talk about self-sabotage, because that became part of the information that was shared, right? So definitely, I want to refer to the actions. It's an actions or thoughts of a pattern that prevents a person, excuse me, from achieving their goals or hinders their overall well-being. It involves engaging in activities that undermine one's own success and often is due to underlying fears, self-doubt, avoidance of uncomfortable situations. First example, procrastination. So putting off important tasks of due to fear or failure of or feeling overwhelmness. Fear. Fear is huge. Fear is a reason for a lot of things not getting accomplished. If we probably had less people having fear, we would have more people singing, right? We would have more people doing things of that nature. Even some wonderful singers that are, not to speak about religion, but just definitely to speak on the fact that when it comes to church or it comes to something that situation or area, of our life, congregating together. There's a lot of people who sing amazingly so and lead choir, but they never ever make it out into the world. So, it may be fear or maybe just because of the simple fact that the business, when it comes to the industry out there, it is not the same as it is when you are in church. So, again, but it also can be overwhelming, a fear of failing. And then, of course, the one thing we talked about yesterday, which I really wanted to discuss this today with you guys, was about negative self-talk, talking bad about yourself, engaging in constant self-criticism and undermining one's own abilities. How many times a day do you forget something or you blame yourself? And you might say, "Hey, Denise, D, I'm not really like out there blaming myself. I'm just not happy that that happened. So, and I did it. So I say it real quick. Even then, it's still negative. So I want to make sure you all understand that power of words. Um, Perfectionism. I talked to you all about that yesterday as well, and another time as well, about that being a problem with myself of wanting to be perfect. So setting unrealistic high standards leading to paralysis and or inability to complete tasks. So meaning because of wanting to be perfect, I basically didn't want to do a task unless I knew how to do it really well. Well, here I am on YouTube and never done this before. Spoke in front of people, sure. But right now I'm looking at you in a camera and I have my own insecurities about why I do the things I do or how I sound or whatnot. But the truth of the matter is that this is new to me. So I'm going off and just doing what I've seen other content creators do. And hopefully I can reach you all like they reached me. If that makes sense. Okay. So no longer am I trying to be perfect. Avoiding challenges, stepping away from opportunities to grow or succeed due to fear of failure. Again, the fear of failing. There's a lot of fear of failing. I think the last one that I point out at the end, you'll understand why we have that. Self-medicating, using substances or alcohol, and that includes drugs, to cope with difficult emotions, which can further escalate problems. Um, Poor time management, difficulty organizing and prioritizing tasks, leading to missing deadlines or increased stress. How many people have been so stressed out when they have to go to work late that they decided that they can't go to work? I'm serious. You get up, you got everything lined up. Hey, matter of fact, you did your regular regimen. You've got your lunch in the fridge, ready to go. You've got your coffee programmed. You've got you taking your shower, and everything just goes, and you're like, I just can't do this today. And you don't know why. You just feel a certain kind of way, but everything's off. Coffee pot spewed your coffee, got it on the first outfit, got to change the outfit, wanted to have to call and tell them that you're probably running late, hate to call again. Hate to being late, period, because that freaks you out too much, gives you anxiety, so you don't ever like to be late anywhere you go. But it happens, right? At some point, you still want to be considerate because you've got to get to work, therefore you have to make others, therefore you have to probably give other people breaks, or maybe you don't, and maybe it's not like that, but you still need to be at your desk when you're supposed to get paid. Especially if you don't have the flexibility of being late. Some of us do have that pleasure of being able to be late a little bit because we have that flexibility, but others do not. So again, it happens, right? Repeating negative relationship patterns. This is huge, guys. Engaging in behaviors that lead to conflict or distress in relationships. Giving up early, not persisting in the face of setbacks or challenges, which lead to missing opportunities for growth. So, there are many causes to why we do these things, and that is what we're going to discuss next time. But I really think it's important to understand that if you're going to give up, really, how many times have you had a job and you thought, they're never going to, they're never going to promote me. I'm never going to get promoted. I told them this. I've been here for 5 years. I'm going on 6 years. And I was supposed to be promoted. And then you get ready to tell them, or you tell them, or you write a letter, or send an email, and they tell you, I had a position that I was waiting to give you, and I wanted to discuss it on your 5th year anniversary. And you're like, 5th year? And then you think back, and you go, hmm, what did I say to them when they asked me that question? That one question that they used to ask a lot. It's for those OGs out there. You know, yeah, those are a little bit older, mature than others on the line. Um, they asked you where do you want to be in 5 years? And you think to yourself, okay, 5 years, I want to be where you're at. I want to be doing your job. I'm not saying I want you gone, but hopefully they're promoted so you can take on their job. Little do you know that, let's call her Susie Q, she was about to do that. And she was going to be the one to give you the honor of that, but she had to keep it on the wraps. It's so hard for us to see it sometimes. And there's significant people on the line now that can understand where I'm coming from. It could be because you're a woman. It could be because you're a woman that's of like me, that's black. It could be a man situation because all the people in the office are women. It could be you're pregnant. It could be so many facets of why you think that you don't have that position. And the basis of it is if you haven't fought for it and you haven't said you wanted it, and that's probably why you haven't gotten it, but they need to know who you are. And yes, we think we show up every day. We do our job. I'm never late. I'm always here. I don't do this. I don't call out. I rarely get sick. I hear all those things, right? I get it. I understand it. However, at the same time, there's something about what you're doing that's sabotaging you, self-sabotaging you from getting to the next level. I really want to go into saying what that is. We talked about procrastination. We talked about negative self-talking, perfectionism, which I already told you, avoiding challenges, which is huge because you're stepping away from opportunities to grow, succeed because of your fear or discomfort. We talked about self-medicating. We spoke to that, poor time management. So this following day, probably not tomorrow because it's July 4th. So hey, y'all. For those who are going to go to barbecues or whatnot, or just relax on the day, please make sure you take some time for yourselves. But always remember one thing that you have a choice in your life to choose what you do with it. And when opportunities present themselves, you need to be ready to take them if possible. And if not, you should be working on you to get yourself to that point where you have no problem saying, I deserve this. Because now you may not say that to your leader or, you know, to HR, but you will let them know every year I get this percentage and I've been very consistent. Is there something I can do differently? Is there something I can add value to what I do so that I can get promoted? Because it's gonna be 5 years and I really want the next thing. I'm so thirsty for it. I can feel it, you know. And they're like, "Oh, okay, sounds great." These are the times you have times that you can speak to yourself. There's times that you can go into the office and close the door. You know, you don't have to share it with everybody there. You got to let people know. Because if you don't let them know, when you get yourself to that point where you are dealing with a day and you're feeling like I can conquer all that I set out to do today. So I'm going to go in that office and I'm going to speak to them. You get in there early before everybody else. You know what time Susie Q gets there. Get there. Get there early enough and say to her, hey, Susie Q, even if you can't do it that day, Susie Q, when you get a moment, please call me in your office. Okay. Does it have to be perfect what you say? No. Speak from your heart. That's the best thing I can tell anybody. When you speak from what resonates here within, it makes a big difference. Even if you say to her, Susie Q, I don't know why I'm so nervous. I have no idea why I'm nervous today, but I really wanted to speak about, my future. It's up to you guys. All right, we're going to go on to part two next week, starting Monday. I look forward to getting back in touch with you guys then. I will do my very best to ensure that I am here. And if you should have any comments at all, please make sure to like and subscribe so that I can read your comment. All right, take care of yourself. Keep letting that light of yours stay bright out there in this dark world. Bye-bye.